I'm gonna drive to survive. F1, yeah. Drive to survive. Yeah, 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 yeah. Beautiful.
We did it. We're
We did
live.
it.
We're live. We did it.
We did it, bro.
We did the thing.
We do this thing quite often. We do
we
this thing.
do. We
We
do
go
this thing.
live.
We go live.
We talk.
But
We
this is
talk about
only for
sports
YouTubers. The
and we
YouTubers
sing.
get the first glimpse.
Today we sing for you for the first time.
Drive, drive to survive.
Drive to survive. Drive to survive. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Drive,
yeah.
drive, drive,
Drive, drive,
drive
drive, 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 drive.
to survive.
Drive to survive.
To
YouTube
survive.
exclusive.
Oh boy, we just lost all the we just lost what little fans we had.
I
That's it.
think
They're
we
gone now.
gained a
They're
hundred
gone.
thousand fans actually.
You know why?
Why?
Because drive to survive.
Drive to survive. Yeah, yeah,
Dun
yeah.
dun dun.
Drive to survive.
Two,
Drive to,
two,
drive to survive.
two.
Surviving the drive. Oh,
Oh snap! The ending right there, dude. That was the ending right there.
that was
Boom.
it. Done. No more. No
Mic
more.
drop.
Boom. Boom, baby.
Boom. All right, now we're gonna actually start the podcast. Oh, you're welcome, YouTube, for that. Thanks for watching.
And let's do my
And we'll actually
thing.
do the intro, the actual intro, which sounds way better than, well, arguably. I mean, I do really like this song. I do really like this song.
Yeah, but I like our song.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. But let's do it. Let's
Here we
go.
go. Here we
You ready,
go.
YouTube? Let's go.
Every week, man. Every week I look forward to that sound because I know I'm in the cave talking to my boy, Big Z. Just ready to chat it up, man. Ready to just hang out on a Wednesday night. You know,
I'm
that's
always ready, bro.
it's
You know
it's
what?
it's the best part about this podcast. It doesn't feel like it's work.
It
Like
doesn't.
it's two boys hanging out.
It's really just my excuse to hang out with you,
You know?
and we just want to record it and let you guys hear. But it's just our way of hanging out.
I think it's
But it's
really
like we tell our
funny.
wives, like, yeah, we got to do the pod, but
Yeah,
we're just hanging out.
it's an excuse to watch like sports. Like every once in a while, she's like, "Why are we watching
Right.
this random game?" I'm like, babe, the pod. She's like, "Oh yeah, okay, of course,
Of course, the pod.
yeah, the
Yes,
pod."
for the pod.
She's like,
You know what's
we
cool?
just sitting in my room, just sipping, just talking.
Dude,
It's amazing.
bro, it's great. You know what's cool about that intro song that I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but at the beginning, like when it's fading in and then coming back out and then back in, there's like a noise like Darth Vader's breathing. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but like it's very
Huh.
faint and it's like, and I'm like, oh, this song
Oh,
was made for us.
a little Darth Vader action.
Yeah, bro. I love
Yeah.
me some Darth Vader.
I love me
it.
some. I would love to say that I love me some Star Wars, but the newest stuff I'm not a huge fan
Okay,
of.
but there's a
Kind of that
distinction.
guy.
There's a distinction. You can say you love Star Wars, like the Star Wars, and I would know exactly what you're talking about.
But see, I go for episodes 1 through 6. Like I even like episodes
Exactly.
one, two,
Well,
and
that's what I'm
three.
saying. Like I would know exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about, one
Yeah.
through six. George Lucas, Star Wars.
Yes.
If a little child came up to me and said, I love Star Wars, I'd be like, no, you don't know what Star Wars is. Like, let me educate you on what Star Wars actually is.
And then
who Luke
anything
Skywalker was.
and then anything directed by Jon Favreau. Like I'm in.
Yeah.
Like Mandalorian.
You can add that in. You can definitely add that in.
Although Book of Boba Fett, it was all right. It was all right. It wasn't as quite as good as Mandalorian.
It wasn't the sequels. It wasn't 7, 8, and 9. It was not that bad.
No, it was better than those.
It was definitely in the middle of the sequels.
When I told you, I even saw an arc of redemption, which I think you got upset with, like kind of low key when they were coming out, and I was like, the only way to salvage these movies is to just make it about like a balanced Force user, and have Kylo and Rey meet in the middle, and have them start like this ultimate empire of like the balanced Force users, like Ahsoka, you know, and
Right,
then
right.
boom, just have them end up together and just go with it, you know, go hard. Like she's not even like, but then they obviously they called it the Last Jedi, so she couldn't do that because she's obviously she needed to be the Jedi. But
But why?
right, I think the movies would have been better. Like, dude, just if you're gonna go down like this random, if you're gonna chase like the dragon all the way through all three movies on the most awkward love story of all time with two characters who literally had zero. I want to emphasize zero chemistry together. Like, I can't even think of the last time that I saw two people with less chemistry. You know, like I really can't. And like they seemed like they were fine. Like they're both good actors. I'm not trying to take a shot as them as actors or
We're not
people.
taking shots at them
We're not
people.
taking any
Okay.
shots. But like I mean, like they're like the love interest thing. It just felt so forced. And I was like, well, if you're gonna force it, then force it. Like go all the way
Yeah, but
and have them start
they
their own
did.
Jedi Order.
Then they did force it. Like they kissed or whatever it was at
But
the
then he
end.
died. It
And
was
then
like,
he died.
what the heck?
Yeah.
What was the point of all
So
of this?
your hopes and dreams were shattered. I was just cringing the whole time. And then at the end, when she goes back to Tatooine, I'm like, oh, like this is a good callback here. Finally, something I can hang on to. There's hope. And the old lady's like, are you a Jedi or whatever she says? And she's like, or what's your name? Ray what? And she's like, Skywalker. Ray Skywalker. And I said,
You're a
no,
Palpatine.
you're a Palpatine. And I did not, but I almost walked out of the theater. I said, this is terrible. This is a travesty. And
You can't just change families like that.
you two can see me right now, my fists are closed and clenched as I'm so angry. I was like, you're not a Skywalker.
You're not.
Luke is, Anakin is, Shmi Skywalker, the one who started the whole Skywalker family line. She's a Skywalker, not you, Ray. You're a Palpatine.
Jason right now is listening to this podcast and he's so confused as to what we're even talking about. That's the best part about this podcast. Like some of our fans will completely grasp what we're talking about, others won't. I do like Mando, but yeah, I'm like, I have no interest. Like if this is the direction it's going, I got no interest in it. But regardless,
we got some sports to talk about.
And the intro to our song, it is cool because it's Darth Vader. Before we get to sports, dude, I gotta say, we got mopped up tonight. So Jaden is on a travel ball team, Thunderbirds, and we got these are the words that I used. We got mollywopped. Like we got mollywopped, dude. Like we got absolutely spanked. Like it was bad. It was bad. It was really, and the bummer is if we make a few key plays, like it doesn't have to be that bad. You know what I'm saying?
That's baseball, bro.
Yeah,
that's baseball's like that. You know, we're Dodger fans, and there's a lot of times where they get mollywopped, as you'd say. But if it was just like if James Outman just caught the ball in center field in Game 1 of the NLDS, the whole complexion of the game would have changed.
Is Cody still a free agent? Because I feel like let's figure it out.
Come on, Friedman. Come on.
Does he want a ring or not?
Just defer the money, you know, like you did with Shohei. You know,
does he want another ring or not? Because obviously we have the roster.
We have the roster. We've always
come on back. Come on back. Come on back. But other than that's good. Arwen has been wearing the cutest. So she's now old enough. She has like this onesie where she looks like a little mini teddy bear.
Oh, dude. That's nice.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
It's the cutest, bro.
I can't even, dude. I can't even. Jaden, I will say this too. Jaden had a good game. He got on base. He was up 3 times, got on base 3 times. He did get hit twice, but that's because my boy knows how to crowd the plate. I'm like, hey, whatever we got to do to get on base.
Dude, the Dodgers could learn some of that in the playoffs.
Yeah, dude. Just get on base.
Just get hit.
Get on base.
Get on base.
He pitched.
That's cool.
He pitched. He gave up some runs, but I mean, at the end of the day, at this age, like it's very rare to have pitchers that are going to blow other kids away. And if you have that, a lot of times they'll walk kids too. But Jade is more of like a strike thrower, and he's going to give up hits. He didn't give up a single ball that wasn't catchable. So he was pretty honest when we got in the car. He's like, man, Dad, that was kind of frustrating. And I was like, yeah, I kind of tell, but you kept throwing strikes. That's all that matters, bud. Like every once in a while, you're going to have games like this where it doesn't go your way in the field. He did have one of our cleanest innings, only giving up like 1 run because his defense made up, like his shortstop made a play, and then he got 2 outs. He had to strike out, and then he got an out at first base. That was actually our cleanest inning. but he only went 2 innings.
Right.
We were kind of moving the kids around, and the team we played, like I don't want to take anything from them. They were really good. Like they were well coached. They did really well. And then other than that, I watched a bunch of football this weekend, so that was fun. What about you, Big Z? What'd you do? What's going on in the world of Big Z?
Watched a bunch of football this weekend. Haley went out with some friends for brunch on Saturday, so it was a good me and Ollie
Ooh,
day,
brunch.
hanging out. We went to the park. It's his favorite place in the whole world. It's not Dodger Stadium, it's the park. And he's like, Dad, park. I was like, okay, we're going to the park, son. So we did that for a while,
Yeah,
and then came home, made the boy some lunch, put him down for a nap, watched some
yeah.
football. He got up, he's like, football on. He heard it. I was like, yeah, let's watch some football, bro. And
Plus
then we
football.
got a bed. We got a California king bed.
What?
Uh, our my in-laws, my mother-in-law's coworker, they had this mattress that they never used. It was just in their guest room. That was like used like twice.
Wow.
And they're having a second baby, and so they need to make a nursery, and they're like, we have to get rid of this bed. Does anyone want it?
Yeah.
And so they gave us this bed. So I bought a bed frame because like, I didn't have to spend any money on the bed. So I spent some money on the bed frame. Haley likes to be higher up off the ground, she just likes that. I don't know. That's a
Because she's
thing.
a legend. She
So
likes
she's
to
a
live
legend.
amongst the
She's a Hall of
stars.
Famer.
Hall of Famer, people. If you don't
So
know,
that's
Big
why.
Z's wife is a Hall of Famer.
That's right. She is in the Hall of Fame. A Hall of Fame. That's right.
Hey, just say Hall of Fame, dude. I mean,
She's
Hall of Fame is
the
Hall of Fame, bro.
she's a Hall of Fame.
Come on.
Hall of Famer.
That's it.
And so I built that. That was I'm not the best with building things. I get it done eventually. But there's some trials that I go through every single time
You
I'm
know what?
building stuff. But I
I'll,
do
I'll,
it.
I
I
will
do
say
it.
this too. In your defense, I feel like building stuff, this is probably the one aspect of life where like I'd rather be a shorty like me versus you. Like when I'm building something from like the ground up, like I'm already low to the ground, baby. Like I'm ready to go.
Dude, it's true. My back, like you're bending over, you're on the
Yeah.
ground. You can feel it after,
Yeah.
when you get in your 30s, you start to
100%.
feel that stuff a little bit more. So I did that, but that was fun. I just kept thinking like I'm getting a free bed and it's okay. Like, and I'm gonna get through it. And I did get through it. And it's a Tempur-Pedic, dude. It's so nice. Like I've never had a Tempur-Pedic in my life. It's the best thing ever. I'm in like the deepest of sleeps now. It's so #blessed. And you're welcome. If anyone bet on all the games that I picked right for you, if you listen to me, you're welcome
Oh,
because
let's
you
jump
got
right
so
into
many
that.
of your parlays right.
All right,
You
here we
are
go.
welcome.
Here we go. So Big Z absolutely slaughtered my picks. You're gonna have to stay tuned for the end of the episode for us to make more picks because that's the last thing we do on the podcast. We make picks for next week on which you should never ever bet on. Despite what Big Z is saying right now,
Yeah, don't bet
we
on
are
them, but you
not
are welcome. If
liable.
you for
We are
some reason
not
did bet on
liable.
them, we warned you last week, don't bet on them. But if you
But if
did,
you did and you listened to Big Z, you won.
yeah.
And if you
So
listen to me, you won half. So technically, you wouldn't be a loser. You just wouldn't be a winner.
yeah.
So
It just depends on
so
which one you bet.
okay,
Which
so
ones you
let's
bet.
segue this in. So
Yeah. Don't bet on
here
the
we
games,
go.
please.
Don't bet. So first game of the weekend, yeah, the Texans, yeah, the Browns. We both took the Texans.
We did. Just CJ Stroud, like, can we? I'm just going to continue to pat both of ourselves on the back every single time that we talk about CJ
Fact.
Stroud this last, since March of last year.
Yeah.
Everything that we've said has come to fruition
Yep.
for this man. He is now the youngest quarterback to ever win a playoff game.
Yep.
And he did it for the Texans, who last year won 2 games. And you have a first-year head coach in DeMeco Ryans, my guy. And CJ Stroud is putting his team on the map and making these receivers look like studs. Nico Collins looks like freaking CeeDee Lamb on Saturday. He just cannot be stopped. So props to them, man. It was a CJ Stroud show and also the pick 6 show for Joe Flacco, for sure.
I mean, Joe Flacco, one of my takeaways from this game was like Joe Flacco finally looked 39.
He did.
Like he had a throwaway that was sort of just one of those things that he clearly tried to throw for like out of bounds. And it just like maybe 5 years ago, it probably gets there. but today's day and age was like, nah, it's not going to get there.
You just,
So
yeah, man, it just, I don't know what it was. You thought, going into the game that he would be pumped and just chucking it like down the field like he was, just throwing dots down the field. But
yeah,
yeah, just you just said it. Like there was just nothing behind those throws, and the defense was ready for it. Um, and yeah, and you just can't get back in the game when you throw two pick sixes in a row, like literally two possessions in a row. It's but and again, we don't want to take away anything from the Texans. Like props to the game plan that D'Amico had, and just the sheer confidence of Stroud again, just putting the ball where it needed to be, and that team just
they
they're moving
dominated.
on,
They
man.
dominated. They
They
absolutely
they
dominated. It
dominated.
never felt close. You felt like the Texans were the better team right from the word go, and they were. Period. I mean, Nico Collins is that dude. They're only going to get better with Tank
Right.
Dell. They probably are figuring out that Damian Pierce maybe isn't the dude. So you go find another running back, maybe get another offensive lineman. I mean, they're so set up for the future. I mean, they look fantastic, and
I
because they
know.
listen to us, and we said CJ Stroud is the guy, and
Yep.
like, oh, yes, Brevity Sports, we will take CJ Stroud,
We will
and they
take
did.
them. Yep. You're
And
welcome. You are welcome,
the
Texans
Panthers
fan
are
base.
sitting at home just cringing.
Yeah.
If you're a Panther
Poor
fan,
Bryce Young. He must be like, man, I wish I got drafted by them.
yeah, oh for
Oh
sure he
yeah.
does.
Oh yeah.
So
But we
yeah,
ready?
the next game, obviously, super cold. Felt like it was -13 or something like that,
Yeah.
negative
Shout out to
30.
my boy Eric who went to the game.
He's nuts. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I was
I don't
like,
know anything about. I could
dude.
not know anything else about your buddy Eric, and I'm going to say he's one of those insane people that you know.
Yeah, I was very surprised, dude. Like, mind you, he grew up in Southern California, and he was the guy in the winter that would be wearing t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. Like when it was like 50 degrees outside, which was cold for us. And I was like, this guy is crazy then. And now like he's going to the -5 degree Kansas City Chiefs game when it feels like -29. And he sent me a picture all bundled up. I was like, dude, he's a real fan. So
Yeah,
that was cool, man. The game itself wasn't super exciting. It was
no,
it was over from the jump. Uh, like you said beforehand, Patrick Mahomes he just looked like Patrick Mahomes. There was no matter like
yeah,
what the weather conditions were or whatever the game plan
yeah,
should have been, it didn't matter to him. Like he
yep,
was he was doing what he did. He was rushing 41 yards rushing. He threw the ball 41 times. He had a
yep,
touchdown, 262 yards. And he's just like, you know what? I don't care. Like, I'm great, and I'm going to show you how great I am.
yep.
On the other side, talk about Tua, dude. Like, dude, what do you do? What do you do if you're the Miami Dolphins?
Man, I mean, look, you and I have never been sold on Tua in terms of like talent, like not even talent. Talent's a terrible word. In terms of just his ability to be special beyond having two of the fastest receivers in the league. Like that's the thing. Like people, like does he have a cannon? Yes, but do a lot of quarterbacks in this league have a cannon? Yes, and
Yeah.
he's got Waddle and Hill, two of the fastest receivers. And every time you see a highlight of him throwing the ball, it's not like whoa, what a throw! Like into this tight window. It's like no, 80 yards down the field. Tyreek Hill is wide open. 50
Right.
yards down the field, Jalen Waddle is wide open, or they go and get it. Like, I'm not saying he's not a starter. He's clearly a starter in the league somewhere. All I'm saying is if you're Miami, right, at some point, you're going to have to smell the roses because either him, from this game, one of the for sure takeaways was either him or McDaniels isn't working.
Right.
Period. That is, their offensive line was not terrible. Like, he had time. Like, did he get sacked? Yes. Was Chris Jones doing his thing as a Kansas City Chief? Yes. But was he in the backfield every time? No. And again, I think I mentioned this to you in text. You cannot look that lost just because it's cold, especially in the AFC, right? You look at the teams
Right.
that are up and coming in the AFC: Baltimore, freezing; Pittsburgh, who's, as long as they have Mike Tomlinson, like they're going to be just fine, freezing, right? Look at all the, like, outside of
Buffalo,
the Jaguars,
Cincinnati.
right? Outside of
Like,
the Jaguars are the one team that are relevant right now that you can go to, and it's going to be in great weather. And the Texans playing a dome. But like most of these teams that you're looking at, like you just said, Cincy, Chiefs, Bills,
Cleveland, like
Cleveland, freezing.
The list goes on.
You can't just avoid cold weather games. That's not a valid excuse. And the way he was playing, I mean, it just, there were some decisions that he made that I refuse to believe for what I see from Mike McDaniels. There was one play that comes to mind. It was like 3rd and 18. And he hit like a he hit like our 4th and 18. They needed the first down.
Right.
He hits a dude like 13 yards out. It's like, what are you doing?
It was like 6 yards. I remember that.
Right. You've got to put the ball to beyond the side. And you could tell when he's running the sideline, Mike McDaniel's looking at him. He didn't say anything. Like, I haven't heard the mic'd up version of it yet. Mike McDaniel's looking at him like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I designed this play to not go there. And again, if you're in this situation, like, you got to throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. Like, he's the dude. Right. If it's an interception, cool. You already lost. Right. At least throw the ball to your playmaker. Give him a shot to be a playmaker. Tua looked absolutely awful. And I'm not letting him off the hook. I think it's really easy. As we talk about some of these other teams, but a lot of the media has already moved off of Tua because of the collapse by the Cowboys and the collapse by the Eagles. Like, well, Tua, whatever. Like, they weren't as good as the Eagles or the Cowboys. So, obviously he gets past them. No. Mike McDaniels is a really, really good coach. You have a really strong running game, really strong receivers, a really good defense, right? It wasn't as if Kansas City blew them out like every other team. Like, it wasn't 45-7.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, you talk about the running game. They're the leading touchdown getter in the league, tied with Christian McCaffrey. Raheem Mostert only had 8 carries for 33 yards. What are you doing? Like, and you kind of take this off of Tua a little bit. You can put this on Mike McDaniel a little bit. I like him a lot, but why are you not giving the ball to Raheem Mostert? Why aren't you establishing the run? Like, when obviously your quarterback is struggling, you have a guy behind him who can has a huge impact on the game and can change a game's narrative very, very quickly. You have Mostert and Achane, and you only gave the ball to them 14 times combined compared to the Chiefs, who had Pacheco rest 24 times for 89 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's a staple of any system in the NFL is the run game. You have to establish that ground game for your quarterback to be good, especially them. If you get that run game going, that's where the play action comes into play. That's where Tua is at his best, and that's where that speedy, very quick Miami Dolphins offense comes into play. But if you become one-dimensional like the Chiefs made them, like, forget it, especially when it's cold and the ball's not traveling the way it usually does. Forget it. And so that portion I put on Mike McDaniel. So I can see, I 100% agree with you. Like, you can't just let Tua off the hook here. But Mike McDaniel, at least he needs to learn from this experience. Like, no, I can't forget, I had this stud behind Tua that I could have utilized in a lot better of a fashion. So, especially in a cold weather game like that, dude. Like,
when they started giving the ball to Achane, it just didn't make any sense. Like, I was like, dude, you got Mostert. He is a workhorse between the tackles. It's freezing. Let him run the ball.
Right.
Wear down this defense.
Right.
Do exactly what Kansas City did. Kansas City, Mahomes is still Mahomes. They look fantastic. I can't wait to watch him for his first playoff road game ever. I'm very excited for that next week. We're not going to talk about that yet. We'll talk about that at the end of our podcast.
Yep.
But yeah, that's going to be super fun. Next game, first, again, I got it wrong. So I got 2 games wrong in a row. It was all downhill for your boy. Big Z was on the up. Green Bay didn't just beat the Cowboys. They schmacked. They mollywopped the Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys like they stole something. And I just want to say, all I want to do, just real quick, I want a little reprieve. And I'm not going to say it's worth half of right. Even if you wanted to give me half credit, I would receive it. But I'm not saying it's worth that.
Okay.
But I said the road to winning this game is Aaron Jones just being a dog, and Aaron Jones balled. He looked fantastic. And that's exactly what you and I sat here and said. Like, Aaron Jones,
he's healthy.
He's healthy.
Yeah.
Everybody's sleeping on him. And there's a world in which if this guy has a big game, this is the road. And he really did. Every time, the announcers were talking about it. Every time the Cowboys were in zone, Love would audible or throw the ball down the field. They did so much play action. It's not even funny, right? just throw the ball down the field, pick them apart in the middle of the field. It was horrendous to watch if you're a Cowboy fan. But every time they went man, they just hand the ball off to Aaron Jones. Right. It was just like audible, hand the ball off to Aaron Jones, and nobody's looking at Aaron Jones because they're trying to watch their receivers hang on for dear life. Aaron Jones just diced them up. It was the perfect game plan for Green Bay. And I just want to say a couple things on this game real quick. First, I believe it is time to start talking about Matt LaFleur as an elite coach in this league. Mm-hmm. Because on the flip side of the Matt LaFleur's, how many times have we seen coaches lose the breakup? Right? We're seeing Bill Belichick get pushed out of New England. If you said to anybody, even 5 years ago, Bill Belichick's going to get pushed out of New England, anyone would look at you and be like, he has a right to be in New England until he's dead. Like, that's what people would have said, right? Mm-hmm. Because he was that good. He meant that much to New England. And yet here we are. He's being pushed out and no one's surprised. And everybody thinks it's time. And by the way, there's not a ton of teams jumping at the bit to sign the quote unquote greatest coach of all time as you think there would. I know all the analysts and all the ESPN analysts and all the buyers and all the quote unquote experts are saying like, oh yeah, Bill Belichick, who wouldn't want him? Most teams who know anything about the current state of the NFL, you want a young, offensive minded coach. That's what's going to win you games. Like that's what wins you games outside of a Harbaugh brother. Like if their last name is Harbaugh, throw that out the window. They're leader of men. Forget everything I'm talking about. Matt LaFleur is a great example of this, right?
100%. I love what he did with Jordan Love this season. Was fantastic. I remember, I think after week 6 or week 7, he goes up, they lose the game terribly. Jordan Love has a terrible game. And he goes up to the press conference after the game, right after the game, and he calls out Jordan Love, says he needs to be better. Like, this is our starting quarterback. We gave him the reins of the franchise. He needs to figure it out. And ever since then, something like a light bulb went on in Jordan Love's head, and they came together as a partnership, and they started to grow together. Jordan Love looks fantastic on Saturday. And yet, Aaron Jones, he deserves so much of this credit. 21 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. But some of the throws that Love was making just looked Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers-esque, like throwing off his back foot, throwing dimes into people or over defenders. It looked like a vintage Packers performance when Aaron Rodgers was in his prime. It just looked amazing. And so props to Jordan Love. And now I believe that the Packers have their quarterback of the future. I really, really do. He's making smart decisions, and he just looks confident. And if you give him confidence now, he can keep building on that. It's good. They're probably going to be owning the NFC North pretty soon. Sorry, Lions, but he's gonna outplay Goff pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll get there in a second. But I mean, 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. No slouch. They dominated. The end score was not nearly. A lot of people look at Dak Prescott's line from this game. They see 403 yards. So much of that came in garbage time. It wasn't even funny. The Packers wanted to prevent defense the entire fourth quarter.
It was 41-16.
You're right. It was 41-16. Yeah. The Packers pulled so many of their starters. It wasn't even funny. They had their backup quarterback with 6 minutes left.
Right.
Like Jason asked me, he's like, I saw Dak's line wasn't that bad. Like, but be honest with you, was it garbage time? I was like, yes, 100%. Like the Packers, Alexander wasn't feeling good. So as soon as they got up like that, they're like, hey, you go ahead and sit. Don't look at the field again. Don't sniff the field again. Don't smell the field again. Don't whatever the field again. You just stay here. Jordan Love absolutely dominated. Look, at the end of the day, on the flip side of that, if you're a Cowboy fan, I was talking to Jason about this. Is it maybe time to rebuild? Right. So you look at a team like the Rams, who unfortunately did lose, and we'll get that in a second. Not unfortunately, if you're a Lions fan, I'm a Rams fan. I'm super happy for the Lions. Let me just start right there. But the Rams have like 4 players from the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like that. Like they got Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, and Matt Stafford. Those are like the 3 pieces that they were like, these are the 3 pieces we're going to build around. I think Tyler Higbee. Sorry. Yeah. So that was the 4th piece. So those are the guys they built around, right? Like Taylor Rapp, he's in Buffalo. Like the whole night, like they sent so many of their other pieces away that people are like, what? Like the Giants, really good defensive linemen. Like they let so many people go. and yet they effectively rebuilt. Like, if you're a Cowboy fan,
I can't hear you.
why is my internet connection unstable?
Okay. Uh,
We're good.
yeah, move. Move. Okay. Yeah, you're better.
No,
Okay.
you're still lagging to me.
Hello?
Now you're not.
Okay. Um,
You,
go. Sorry, YouTube. Sorry,
sorry,
YouTube.
YouTube. We're having technical
Yeah.
difficulties.
Okay. So just go back to just continue.
YouTube gets the raw deal, dude.
I know
You
they
guys get to
do.
see all the all the behind the scenes stuff because we're not editing this. This is live on YouTube.
This is
So
live on YouTube,
this is
baby.
live. There's no editing this, baby.
No, I can't get it. Yeah, so
But
just
yeah, no. Again, the Cowboys. Like, if you're a Cowboy fan, do you believe maybe it's time to rebuild? Because look what the Rams have accomplished. They're back in the playoffs. They did lose, but they're back in the playoffs. They're competing. It looks like they're on the way up. Sean McVay has a big press conference afterwards saying he believes again in football. He's refound his purpose. If you're a Cowboy fan, not only do you know that you pretty much need a new coach, right? We now know.
Oh, for sure.
He gone, right? Gone. So what do you do? Like, Big Z, if you're a Cowboy fan, like you're seeing this loss. I mean, you can't pay Dak. I think you told me 60 million.
Yeah, 60 million is on it. He's on the books for 60 million
You
next
can't
year.
pay him that. You can't pay him that.
Well,
You can't.
you can't. And the first thing I do as a Cowboys fan is I demand that Jerry Jones relinquish his ability to be the GM. Like,
Yes.
whenever owners are general managers, it usually doesn't turn out well. Like all the Angels. Like look at what the Angels have been doing. And I'm not saying that Artie Moreno is the GM, but he's very involved still, and he has the final say a lot of the times. Like he vetoes a lot of trades and all that terrible stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I demand out of Jerry Jones. Relinquish that. Secondly, you need to rework Dak's contract. You have to figure out how to get him less money. And that contract it's terrible, dude. Like, for the Cowboys, like, he has a no trade clause in there, like a full no trade clause. He can't be franchise tagged, once it runs out. So they're in it, for the long run with Dak Prescott. And he has all the leverage in it. Like, he can say no, and they're like, well, okay, and like they're still gonna have to pay him. Like, if they
The
if they
60
ask
million
him,
is guaranteed.
it's guaranteed. It is
Oh
guaranteed.
my gosh.
But this is what happens. Like, I don't know where this came from, that Dak is a top quarterback in this league.
But see, this is the problem with the Jasons of the world. Is they have like this unflappable belief in this guy, unflappable. Mitchie, get mad at this one. The belief in him cannot be shaken, is the point of that. And like, here you are paying this guy $60 million. And the thing is, you could look at, Jason, even we were talking on the phone the other day, he was talking about, like, a couple weeks ago, he's in the MVP conversation. Who cares? It's the same reason that Kershaw, and I love Kershaw. Right. It's going to sound like I'm taking a shot at him. I have a jersey. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I think he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time, hands down. But it is one of the reasons he never got that massive, massive deal. If he dominated in the playoffs, he's getting that massive, massive deal. Nobody cares on the big teams. If you're a New York Yankee, if you're a Yankee, if you're a Dodger, if you're a Cowboy, the list goes on and on and on for the great teams. Nobody cares what you do. If you're a Laker, nobody cares. If you're a Celtic, nobody cares what you do in the regular season. You are judged by your postseason performance. That is what decides everything.
Over and over and over again. You could see it at the beginning, like during the first quarter, after that first drive where he threw super wide to CeeDee Lamb, and everyone's like, oh, CeeDee Lamb should have caught that. No, it was a terrible pass. And for CeeDee Lamb and him to be arguing on the sideline, and Mike McCarthy had to go over. And CeeDee Lamb, mind you, is not a diva wide receiver. He's very mild-mannered, very professional, the way he goes about his business. I love it. And he's a superstar. And for him to get upset with Dak multiple times throughout the game, that's telling. That's telling you that there's a there's something going on with their chemistry. They're not feeling each other, and you can't have the playoffs be the time that your chemistry is off.
And by the way, if your chemistry is off, you're taking CD Lamb. If you're a Cowboy fan, CD Lamb is the guy. Dak is not.
Dak was making terrible throws. The interception, his first interception, where Jair Alexander held the receiver, but the reason why he was able to intercept it is because Dak threw so wide again to the receiver. If he threw on target, it would have been an easy PI call. But because it was so off target, everyone was off balance. The refs really couldn't call it because it was like, well, I don't know actually what's going on. Is the receiver moving because he's being held, or is he because he's diving for the ball? The sacks he was taking, like this is not what you do as a franchise quarterback. As a $60 million per year guy, you're not the guy.
That's the key. That's the key.
Dak, somehow you have to figure out how to get rid of Dak.
That's the key right there. Is we're not talking about Dak as just another quarterback. We're talking about Dak as $60 million. And let's not forget, to me, look, did Dak play terribly? Yes. But was this all on Dak? No.
The
defense could not stop a soul.
And that's fourth.
Green Bay did everything they could possibly do. Anything they wanted, they did it.
Dan Quinn, my gosh, what a terrible game plan you had. Zone defense was not something that defense did. They probably did it less than 5% of the whole regular season.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, that's the main scheme that you're going to implement into the game?
Terrible.
What kind of game plan is that?
Horrible.
What are you doing? And this guy has 4 or 5 head coaching interviews this week.
Terrible.
And I don't want to sound rude and try to this guy doesn't deserve to be a head coach. He should be. I never want to be someone like that, like a stupid media pundit.
Right.
But I'm like, what kind of game plan was that? Like, it just did not make sense. Jordan Love looked like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre.
Yeah.
In Dallas. Like, you have a lot of problems on your hand. You had a big problem when you let Zeke go and you made Tony Pollard your number one guy. Tony Pollard is not a number one running back also. Like, you can't just give him the ball and just have him be that dog who just goes and gets pounded on the line, right? Like, that's who Zeke was. That's who Dak needed on Saturday. Dak needed his boy Zeke behind him. Like, give me the ball, take care of it. That's who Zeke is.
Right.
And so you have a lot of problems on your hands if you're the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you do.
And the biggest problem is that the Texans have more playoff wins since 2002 than the Dallas Cowboys do. 5-4. That's crazy. That's the sixth problem that the Dallas Cowboys have. So don't talk to me. Please don't talk to anyone about this team being right there and that Dak should be talked about as one of the best quarterbacks until they actually do something in the playoffs.
You could go get a second receiver because there's a lot of Cowboys fans out there thinking if we just got a number 2 receiver, we'd be there. No, you're not. You're not a number 2 receiver short. The problems you just saw, you didn't lose this game close. You lost it by a landslide. You lost it by a large margin. I don't want to hear we're one piece away. You're not. On some level, you got to rebuild. Moving along. The Lions beat the Rams in the unarguably the best game of the playoffs so far. This was, if you miss this game, sat on you. This was the best game. It had the most storylines and it lived up to the hype. Unfortunately for me, the Rams went down 23-24. For every Detroit fan everywhere, they're all hyped. And congrats to you. Let me just say that real quick. Look, everything was on display. You wanted running backs, Kyron Williams, Montgomery, Gibbs, dogs, right?
Right.
Having said that, on the other side of the ball, equally as impressive, Amon-Ra St. Brown, amazing. Right. Cooper Kupp, amazing. Nakua, amazing. Sam Laporta, clearly emerging as one of the greatest tight ends. Josh Reynolds, amazing. Yeah. Like everybody was balling in this game. And it was such a good game. Let me just say right now, I'm not one of the Rams fans that is blaming the pass interference call that was a clear pass interference call that wasn't called. Was it a bummer? 100%. Do I wish it would have been called? Yeah. That's not why we lost. There's any good number of reasons why the Rams lost, including 4 trips to the red zone and getting field goals. If we convert one of those, if we convert 2 of those, we win by 14 points, right? So I'm not here for that call cost the game. The other thing was the early timeouts, right? The early timeouts, we blew timeouts. We would have been able to stop the clock, maybe get a stop. We had one timeout left. So there's any number of reasons why the Rams lost, but I don't want to take anything away from the Lions. Great job, Dan Quinn. Amazing job. This guy came in talking about biting kneecaps, and everybody's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what
Yeah.
are you actually a head football coach? Or are you like from the WWE? Like, who are you? Right. And he actually has turned his team around. He's doing amazing. He's doing fantastic. 100%. I'm going to leave it right there for the moment.
Right.
Big Z, what were your takeaways from this game?
Uh, I think the play that iced the game when it was 2nd and 9, and the Lions to get it, if they get a first down, they win. And this is Dan Campbell. This is why they hired him, because he has that mentality of a lion. Like, he
Right.
just does not give a crap like about let's just play conservative. Like, he's like, no, we're gonna beat you the way I want.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a tough guy. And he tells Goff, he puts in his ear, you throw the ball, you get a first down. This is what you've never been able to do. This is what every single Ram fan, every single media pundit has said. You can never do this. You can't ice a game with your arm. You go out and do it because I believe in you. And maybe Jared Goff, maybe in a year ago, he couldn't do that. But the fact that his head coach is brave enough and has that confidence in him, he's going to show him, like, I'm going to do it for you, coach. And he does it. And he throws a dart to Amon-Ra St. Brown, a great pass. Like, that was his best pass of the game. It wasn't, Amon-Ra wasn't open. It, like, super wide open. He just found him at the right spot, and he sealed the game with his arm, which is something that a lot of people thought that he couldn't do. So that was my first takeaway. Jared Goff had a great game. Second takeaway, Matthew Stafford is a dog.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, 367 yards, 2 touchdowns, 25 to 36. Coming back to Detroit, where he never got to play a playoff game in that building, and he spent so many years of his career there. That dude is such a good quarterback. When you give him the time and when he's healthy, you talk about top quarterback in the league. Like, that guy deserves to be in the top 3 discussion. Like, it's arguable that you can put him there.
Yeah.
So I love him, and the poise that he came in the game with, just the attitude, the respect for the other side too. And even after the game, he was just very respectful. He
Yeah.
wasn't a bitter to
No.
the Lions. That's who I want quarterbacking my team. Someone like that.
Yeah.
Like a leader. And so props to him.
Yeah.
And just props again to Dan Campbell. Like you talked about, the media really jumped on him since day one. But that was the right hire. The Ford family knew, like, we need to change something. We need to change the culture here. We can't just keep hiring puppets, the same people, the same type of people. We need to hire someone to shake things up. And he did exactly that.
Yep.
And so congrats to those guys. Congrats to the Lions, their first playoff win in over 30 years. They get another home game against the Bucks next week. So it'll be fun, man. Just that was by far the best game. Kept me on the edge of my couch for sure.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. It was amazing. Matt Stafford.
So good, man. He's so good.
At the end of the day, it's Sean McVay said it because, right away the media tries to make. I said it before the game. Like, the Rams won the breakup. They got a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. They went all in. They got the Super Bowl. And I agree with Sean McVay. If anybody else is the quarterback of the Rams, we're well below 500.
Yep.
I think if anybody else besides Matt Stafford is a quarterback of the Rams right now, the Rams maybe win like 4 games. Like, his ability to just move the ball. He was throwing no-look screen passes.
I know.
Just to get the ball moving. Like, that's what he had to do.
Sidearm passes, like,
so
to get it around the line.
Like, all he needs is like 2 good weapons. Kupp and Nakua. And again, Nakua broke another record, right? He had the best season, or the best. He already had the best season for a rookie receiver, and now he has the best playoff game for a rookie receiver. I mean, he's absolutely an animal. Rams fan, the future is bright. The future is so bright for this team, especially with Matt Stafford. Maybe go out, draft a young quarterback that can sit under Matt Stafford. We talked about that before. I would love to get somebody that could sit under him because, again, you look at a guy like Jordan Love, who had the opportunity to sit under an Aaron Rodgers, under the tutelage of the coaches, and just grow and grow and grow. And now it's his moment. He's shining. I love that type of feel, and I think Matt Stafford is the kind of guy that would take somebody under his wing. I will say, after the game, yes, did Jared Goff play well? Yes, he played well. Like I'm not gonna take away from him that he played well. I looked at this game, and this is probably the Rams fan in me. I really thought the Rams could have won this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Like you look at the second half, and the Lions didn't do anything on offense. The first 3 possessions, they crushed it. They crushed it. The Lions won this game in the first 3 possessions. They went down, scored 3 touchdowns. They crushed it. And they could not do anything after. But the Rams just failed to capitalize. And that was like the first time in weeks that we failed to capitalize that. Credit again to the Lions defense. Credit to Dan Campbell. The Rams easily could have won this game. It didn't go our way. But I have to say, when you're looking at some of these other teams, when you're looking at a Cowboys fan, right? When you're looking at like, I am so excited for this team to continue because I believe genuinely that Matt Stafford can win you a Super Bowl. Like, look, Lions fans, I hope your run continues. I really do. I think you have a great shot at the very least to beat the Bucs. But Jared Goff is still your quarterback. And that to me is at some point.
But you do have to admit though that he has grown since he left the Rams.
Oh yeah, he was a good quarterback for the Rams. He got us to the Super Bowl.
Right. But like he has grown though.
He's grown. I credited that catch. Honestly, you saw it as Jared Goff's best pass. I saw it as Amon-Ra is just, to me, Amon-Ra is like a top 3 receiver in the league. Yeah. Like I look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm like, dude,
but that's also like the Purdy just has weapons argument. It's like, well, he's utilizing his weapon. Like,
I'm not faulting him for it. Like, I'm not faulting him for it.
The fact that
he's grown for sure.
The fact that he was able to throw that, like he would have never done that on the Rams. Like McVay wouldn't have not called that play.
Trusted him. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that Dan Campbell did, that's very telling of his growth. And I'm not saying, I just said that Matthew Stafford is a top 3 quarterback.
Right.
But Jared Goff, he has grown as a quarterback.
Like he has. Oh, 100%. Yeah. He's not going to win a Super Bowl. That's he's grown. He's good. Yeah. He's better. He's not going to win a Super Bowl.
Well,
Jared Goff is not going to Jared Goff. Look, I'm not a San Francisco fan. Jared Goff is not that dude. He's not going to go to San Francisco and get you a dub. He has a great shot to beat the Buccaneers next week. He's not going to Frisco to get you a dub.
Well, of course.
I think Jordan Love has a chance this week I'm on record right now. Jordan Love will put up a better fight against San Francisco than Jared Goff will with the Lions. The Niners win. I don't know if I can pick that because I need an epic comeback, but the Niners win, and then Jared Goff will go there and lose. Like that's Detroit. Enjoy the ride, enjoy the win, enjoy next week's probable win, and then on to next year. I guess I'll also say there was one of those things that like if they did lose, they were going to kind of be in the same boat as the Cowboys. Now you ride out Jared Goff for another couple of years. I think they have like 2 years left on his contract. So good for Jared Goff earning that too.
He doesn't have 60. It's like 25 million.
But either way, good for Jared Goff and cementing his place as their starting quarterback for the next couple of years.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's great.
Yeah. You're right.
Go draft a young quarterback. Do the same thing that the Rams are doing. Go draft a young quarterback.
They have one.
They
drafted one last year. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. They already got him.
They're ready, bro.
They're ready. Dan Campbell's always ready.
That's right.
Dan Campbell's already. So that was the best game. The Bills were just too much for Pitt. I know the call at the end of the game. I just told you I'm a Rams fan. I don't feel sympathy for you. I don't feel bad for you. Right?
It was by the book. It's a PI.
So is Nakua. That's not why you lose playoff games.
But like if you're going to compare the two, like that was way more blatant for Nakua for the Rams.
Right.
But you lost by 2 touchdowns.
Right. But even the most like egregious penalty calls of all time, the Rams versus the Saints, the most egregious no call ever. The Saints still had 3 more downs to move the ball and got the ball in overtime.
Exactly.
Like that is not the reason you lost the game. Right. It's just not. Right. Like one of our friends like, oh, it's rigged. Like, no, it's not. You were down. You were within 1 score for like 5 minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you didn't lose the game because of that. The only reason you were even in this game was Mike Tomlinson. And that's never the reason that you lose the game is a penalty. It's just not. Yeah.
Except the Cowboys and Lions game, but yeah.
I'm
kidding. But no, you're 100% right. Josh Allen, dude, like I know we talked about it last week, but just redemption story of the year. Like this guy had all 4 of the touchdowns for the Bills. He had a 52-yard rush, just breaking tackles left and right.
Yeah.
Like if you talk
Crazy.
about MVP, like I think that Josh Allen needs to be considered in the MVP conversation. You take Josh Allen off that team, and you have nothing. Like that team is a 4-win team at best. Like and
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
For me, him and Lamar are like in a league of their own
yes,
as in terms of that, because those two, you look at the Ravens, it's like how many drop balls the Ravens have?
yeah.
What the heck? Like you look at the Bills, like, wait, their running back only had like X amount of yards. Like, wait,
Right.
how did they win?
It's
Like,
crazy,
what?
man. Like they're just so the comeback team of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Good for them. When you look at the Steelers, Mike Tomlin just being able to keep his team in it, like after that terrible, terrible start that they had,
Yeah.
and able to say, "Hey Mason, like Rudolph, like go get him. Like I'm not gonna bench you. Like this is your game. Do what you need to do." And he ended up 22 of 39, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. The pick was early. It was a bad red zone pick, but
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Pickett would have done any better? I don't. Uh,
No, no, he wouldn't have. He would
yeah,
not have done any better. And the only reason you're even in this position was because of the finish that Rudolph had at the season
yeah.
of being a
So
very solid starter.
yeah, and so Tomlin, he announced today that he's coming back for his last season of his contract with the Steelers. Um, it's great, you know. I think that if you're a Steelers fan, like you need to respect like what you've
Tomlin's the
had,
guy.
what you've had, dude. Like
Yeah,
for almost 20 years,
he's the guy.
like you've never had a losing season. And you know, it's like, well, we expect championships, but I'm like, well, you don't get championships every year. Like the Cowboys haven't had one 30 years, the Niners haven't had one 30 years, the Lions haven't ever had like the Rams hadn't had one in 20 years. You know, it's like
Yeah,
until a couple years ago, like teams don't win it every year, but
no.
there's so many teams that never make the playoffs. Like Tomlin is the one stabilizing force that franchise has had for so long. Like respect the guy, respect him.
Yeah,
Come on, like
dude. All you need to know about this game is that Josh Allen threw for 203 yards, had 3 touchdowns, right? And then their top receiver, James Cook, touched the ball 18 times for 79 yards. Josh Allen had 74 yards. Obviously, he had a big run, but with a touchdown. And their top receiver had 59 yards,
right,
Dalton Kincaid.
right.
I mean, Josh Allen makes this thing roll, and that's why the Steelers lost. His name is Josh Allen. That's why he lost. It wasn't the refs. It wasn't Rudolph. It wasn't Tomlin. It was this. It was Josh Allen. That's why he lost. That easy. Tampa Bay confirmed what we all suspected.
What the I saved you. You would have been 4 picks down, dude. I saved you. I convinced you that the Bucks were just easily going to
Well,
wipe
I
them.
tried to convince myself for the Eagles. I just couldn't do it. I just you picked the Tampa Bay, and I thought I was going to be cool picking Tampa Bay. I should have known that you're wise and that you already knew Tampa Bay. So then I was like, well, should I go a different pick? Because I was so unconfident with the Dolphins. But then I was like, no, I got to ride Tampa Bay. Like, there's just no way to pick the Eagles. And we were right. And I will say this, I want to say real quickly, credit to Jason Kelce, not arguably, one of the greatest centers of all time. He deserved better going out than this.
He did.
I mean, this was an ugly game, and it was really sad to watch Jason Kelce, leave in this way. So, yeah, I just wanted to say, shout out to him because this was an ugly, ugly loss. Baker is bacon. I mean, that guy, and you could do any one. Baker is bacon, like he's baking bread. He's doing it. Or Baker is bacon because bacon is incredible, right?
Whoa.
It makes everything taste better. Like you could go any way you want with that, but Baker is bacon. You know what I mean? Like that guy.
Hey, he may field some more touchdowns next week. Oh,
hey,
Mayfield.
You did it.
No.
You did
it. Yeah.
Regardless,
I tried.
this is a team. This is a team that everybody was talking so much trash about.
Right.
So much trash about. They're not even in a real division. Are they any good? Here you go. They're pretty freaking good. They just destroyed the Eagles. Baker's doing great. And I got to tell you, all of a sudden the Eagles are one of those teams. Who are you taking? Hurts? Are you taking Sirianni. Like, who are you
Well,
keeping?
well, Hurts is the guy. Like they just signed him to that
Yeah.
$250 million deal. I think a little prematurely. It looks
Well,
like
especially now without Jason Kelsey. We talked about it on this
yeah,
podcast. Those blockers, right? Those blockers are so key. Jason Kelsey at picking up and reading things. We talked about the fact that Jason Kelsey actually has the ability to audible on the line.
right.
Centers don't typically have that. Jason Kelsey does.
Yeah,
We're talking about the Philly special, right? The brotherly shove. Jason Kelsey.
that's Jason
What
Kelsey.
does this look like without him? We're going to find out. And to me, Hurts is hurting, dude. Like he is in so much turmoil. All of a sudden, the Eagles are not what they were. They're not. They're certainly not what everybody thought they were to start the year. You know, it's between them and the Dolphins is the biggest frauds in all of football. And now you're stuck with Jalen Hurts, and he's losing his all-pro, all-time center.
Right.
What does this even look like next year? I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I don't want to take away from the fact that Tampa Bay played a dominant game. I said it here on the podcast. Rashad White is a dog. Mike Evans, dog. They have so many dogs on this team.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're a Lion fan and you're thinking you're a walk through this Bucks team, you're crazy. This Bucks team is playing their best football
100%.
right now. They looked crisp. They looked clean. And if Mike Evans and Godwin don't drop 2 balls,
Right. Oh, I know. They would have had 50 points. Like
50 points, dude.
Yeah, on the great Eagles.
So
Baker Mayfield, dude, like if I'm a playoff team, like that's the guy I would love to have as a quarterback on my team.
yeah.
A guy who has no fear,
Yep.
who's okay, maybe I threw a pick or maybe we're down by 14. I don't care. Like, let's go out there and score a touchdown. Like that's what you get with Baker Mayfield. He's been through it. He's been through the turmoil. He's been through the hate, in Cleveland, in Carolina, on the
Colin
Rams.
Cowherd.
He's been through it. Colin Cowherd, yeah, Colin Cowherd hated it so much and still kind of does. Like,
And he's eating his words.
Yeah,
He's being
but,
forced to eat his words, though.
He's being forced to, but also still putting jabs in there when he can, but he can't really because But Baker is he's just doing what Baker always did in college. He's just playing football again, and there's no pressure on him, and he has nothing to lose. You're 100% right. Like he's going to go into Detroit, and I'm not saying that they're going to win the game, but he's going to put up a game.
Yeah.
I know he's going to have to do it, and it's going to come down to the Lions having to stop him on defense at the end. I guarantee it.
Yeah. They're going to have a great game. They're going to have a great game. It's going to be a good game. It's the game that, like, all the games are good, but I feel like every game is going to be so good. Besides maybe one. But again, like, they did amazing. Hurts is in so much trouble. The Eagles, if you're an Eagles fan, you may not want to realize this. You may not want to admit this, but you are in the same exact position the Cowboys are in. You are in a world of hurt, and you're going to have to figure out something because it's not working. It's not working, and you just lost your 7-time Pro Bowl center.
Right.
Again, I cannot emphasize to you how big that is for a mobile quarterback to lose him. People talk about a guy like Justin Fields. Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, their skill set to me is extremely comparable. And yet one has competed at the very highest level, made it to a Super Bowl. The other doesn't even know if he gets to have a starting job next year. And the difference for me is a Jason Kelsey. If Jason Kelsey is on the Bears,
right,
we're talking about Justin Fields the same way we're talking about Hurts. In fact, I personally think Justin Fields has a tad more arm talent and his ability to create and continue to look down the field. Hurts has a tendency to get mobile and just tuck the ball and run, whereas Justin Fields will tuck the ball and then take a look down the field, make a throw to whatever receiver decides to drop it that day besides DJ Moore because he's the only one who could reel it in. I had to get my Justin Fields love in there somewhere. Regardless, I had to do it. Hurts is in a world of trouble. If you're an Eagles fan, you're in a world of trouble. I'm telling you this right now. For everybody who sat here and said the Rams sold their soul to get the Super Bowl, the Rams, here we are 2 years later, we are in such a better position than the Eagles.
Yep.
Period.
100%.
So good luck. Good luck.
Eagles.
Oh, side note, before we move off of football, because we want to mention a couple other things and then we'll come back for our picks. Side note, I just want to say this. I am done hearing that the NFC East is the strongest division of football because you and I know it is, in fact, the NFC West. I do not care about the stats. I do not care about the records. The NFC West is a harder division because when we make the playoffs, we don't go down without a fight. The Rams went into Detroit, hands down, one of the toughest places to play all year long for anybody, and we lost by 1 point.
1 point.
Un point.
Right.
Like, shout out to the Lions. Great job. Nobody wants any part of the Niners, right? No one. So just saying, NFC West, baby. Boom. Take
easily.
it.
Easily. NFC East is just in shambles. And the only reason we hear about them is because of the East Coast bias. And we've talked about it for as long as you and I have known each other. Everyone loves those East Coast teams, but they're in trouble, man.
They're in trouble.
That division is just it's weak.
Shambles.
Weak-minded. Yeah, man.
Weak-minded. Dang, called out their mentality. Okay, two things before we go back to our picks. NCAA, I just had to say this. The Zags, Big Z, are out of the top 25. And we're not to March Madness yet.
I don't remember that.
It's only January. But like the Zags are out of March Madness right now. And I'm not good at my brackets. I would still take the Zags because they have to be there. They have to make the March. They have to they have to be there. No, I would not.
No, they're not going to. Dude, they lost to Santa Clara last week.
But they have to make the Final Four.
Well,
they're the Zags. They're always there.
Things change, dude. Things change. Look at last week.
They did go sniff Timmy's headband.
Saban retired. Bill Belichick was let go, fired. Pete Carroll was fired. Like, things change. Jason told us that, dude. He was texting us. We're getting older. Things are changing. The Zags, they're not going to make the NCAA tournament all the time.
Pete Carroll, I was not as surprised by Pete Carroll as others because I looked across and I said, look, he was competing against two of the best coaches in the NFL.
I'm just saying, like, things change though. Like,
100%.
Like he was kind of a staple of the Seahawks. Just
is that
just like the Zags are a staple? Like, they're going to win the Mountain West every year and make the tournament.
They have to.
Maybe not.
I think they will. I think
they most likely will, but they're not ranked right now.
But they're at the top 25 right now.
Just because they're not ranked, like, there's still 68 teams that make it. There's only 25 ranks. So
right now, according to ESPN, they're the 69th team.
Okay, that's
the issue.
So they'll be fine. ESPN doesn't.
No, they don't know. They don't know. I will say, we just brought up an interesting point. Like, dude, does the NFC West arguably have like two of the top 5 coaches in football? Without question.
I'd say maybe 3. If you're
who are you taking over Kyle Shanahan?
Gannon looked good.
You're not taking anybody over Kyle Shanahan.
No,
there's not a single coach.
And then McVay's right there.
You're not taking many people over Sean McVay.
Well, I think that Shanahan's top. McVay's it's 1A and 1B. Like, before the Niners became the Niners, like, McVay was, for what he created there when they moved to Los Angeles after they fired Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was the system. Jared Goff, system quarterback. Well, and I know we have a lot to say about systems in football. You can't survive without a good system. It's look at the Eagles. Like, their system left. James Steichen left last year. He went to the Colts, and their system crumbled. And look at now.
Takes a good QB to execute a good system.
Exactly. So Shanahan and McVay are 1A and 1B. I think that Gannon is a great coach. I'm not saying that he's a top 3, but he's up there. He's a top 10 coach.
Absolutely.
And then whoever the Seahawks replace Carroll with, I'm sure they're going to get a young offensive mind somewhere. But it's all from that Shanahan coaching tree, dude.
Yeah.
McVay and Kyle came from his dad, Shanahan's dad, Mike Shanahan. So it's all from that when they were on the Washington football team, the old former Redskins. When they were in that, I think it was like 2016 or something, they were all there. Mike McDaniel was there. Look at like, that's the up and coming thing. They were all part of the same coaching class, and on the same staff. So offense, man, offense wins. Offense wins.
By the way, second thing before we go back to our picks, Australian Open is on. Super fun to watch tennis. If you never get to watch tennis, wait like maybe in a couple more days until some of the bigger names went. But name to look out for: Ben Shelton making another run The
Playing right
young
right now.
American. Let's go. Hopefully, this guy. We've been waiting for a great young American since Andy Roddick on the men's side. Obviously, the Williams sisters. We're gonna miss them. They dominated for us for a long, long time. They're finally retired, but
Change into the guard, man. Again,
yep.
another
On the
change.
another change on the man's side, ever since Andy Roddick, like 20 years ago,
Right.
not 20, but like 10 years ago. Ben
Yeah, yeah.
Shelton, he already won the first set. He's actually playing right now as we're filming this. He's up six. He won 6-4. For those of you who
Wow.
don't know how tennis works in a majors, here we go. Every set is the best first to 6 games. If you get beyond that, you go to a tiebreaker for the seventh. Unless you're at Wimbledon in the fifth set, you would keep playing until somebody wins by 2. But regardless, every set is 6 games. Our first to 6 games. It's amazing. Go
Amazing.
watch it. Ben Shelton did it. He's going. I hope he makes a deep run. That would be amazing. I'll be watching. If he makes the finals, I'm watching Big Z. I'm
Oh
waking up
yeah.
at 4 a.m.
Oh, we'll
to
watch.
watch it.
We'll
We're
watch
watching
together.
it.
We'll
We're
FaceTime
doing
each
it.
other.
Yeah, we
Let's do
will.
it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, dude, popcorn, the whole 9 yards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the moment everybody's waiting for to not listen to us, to not make your bets, because we've told you,
Please do not
do
make
not
your
do
bets.
that
Please
based
don't.
on us. Here we go. Texans, Ravens, Big Z. Time for us to make. Wait. Before we do this, you slaughtered me. We already
Right?
talked about it. You
6-3.
slaughtered me. You beat me 6-3. You got every game right.
I got every game right.
So you took the Texans. I took the Texans.
Right.
You took Kansas City. I took the Dolphins.
Right.
You took the Lions. I took the Rams. You
Both
took
the Bills.
you took
Packers.
Green Bay.
You took
I took the Cowboys. I
And then Bucks
believe
and Bucks. That was it.
right, Bucks and Bucks. Yeah, we
Yep.
both did Bucks and Bucks. So, I got 3 right. You got 6 right. So I need an epic comeback here. So I'm gonna have to try to at least gain like 2 games on you here so that I can maybe have a shot next week. So I don't want to get too crazy. I can't make too crazy of a pick, but I need to have a shot here. Okay, here we go. Texans, Ravens, Big Z. Who are you taking?
Okay. So since I won
Okay.
the first week, you can choose first this game.
I get choose versus game.
Yeah, that's what I get for winning. The actual prize will choose like the overall prize, but that's like whoever wins the week gets to choose who gets to pick.
Okay.
Or whatever
All
they
right.
want.
I will. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Ravens. I'm taking the safe pick on this. I think it's in Baltimore. The Ravens. I love Stroud. I think he's an amazing story. I don't see them going to Baltimore and getting a W. I think he's great, and if anybody can do it, like I could see the world, in which he goes out and just starts throwing the ball around like it's going out of style.
I
But
know. I've wrestled with this all day, but I had to go Ravens just because. I mean, Lamar Jackson is historically has a terrible playoff
he's
record,
right.
but I mean, I don't know. I'm going Ravens.
He's an MVP. He's an MVP. They have a good
Yeah,
defense.
he is the MVP. He's going to be the MVP. So
Gosh dang it. So the next game is obvious too. So I'm not going to be able to you're killing me. I'm not going to be able to gain a game on you here. So we got the Niners, Packers.
well, okay,
Niners.
going Niners.
We're both going Niners.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Shanahan has dominated Green Bay in the playoffs, and that was with Aaron Rodgers. So if like you're sitting here thinking like, but Aaron Love looked as good as Aaron Rodgers, like Shanahan went in to Green Bay on multiple occasions and beat them.
That's right.
But they weren't supposed to. Like
They weren't. That's the thing.
they went in there with Jimmy G. Look, I'm not trying to hate on your boy, but the Niners went in there with Jimmy freaking G and got it done. Like,
That's right, bro.
don't.
That's right.
Look, I like Jordan Love as much as the next guy. Niners are going to win this game. And by the way, before we move on, we have to do this because, we got to tell you the line on the Baltimore Houston game is Baltimore -7. So we're definitely riding with the favorites there. The line in San Francisco is even worse, -8.5.
You know what's interesting?
So,
the line on the Texans game, Texans-Ravens today was Baltimore by 9. And then San Francisco earlier today was San Francisco by 10. So people must be betting too much.
yeah, oh yeah,
And
that's
so they're
exactly
like,
what's
oh, Vegas like,
happening.
no, okay.
Pause. We got to cover the spread. Everybody's going to cover the spread. So,
Yeah.
okay, we got the first 2 picks. We're being lame right now. But here we go. On to the next one. We got Buccaneers, Lions.
I'll go this one. If you
Okay,
want.
go ahead.
I'm going Lions.
Oh, okay. Well, you went first this time. Dude, I can't. Do I want to fall farther behind? Does it matter? Like if I disagree with you here, can I, is there a road back to me? Say, come back.
Mm. because we got 2 games. So we have 3 games after this
Give me the
week.
Bucks.
All right.
Give me the Bucks. If I lose this, it's over, right? I have to beat you this week because mathematically,
You
I
have to
can win this
gain.
before,
You have to gain at least a
at least
game.
a game.
No. Well, if we tie, if you lose at least 1 game, if I have 1 game up on you, it's over. But as long as you're only down 3 going into next week and then the Super Bowl, I'll have to go 0 for 3 at my next 3 picks. But you have to go 3 for 3. But it's possible mathematically.
So I have to go to the Bucks. I have to take a shot because I have to gain a gain on you somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like those 2-1, the Ravens and the Niners, I'm not picking against them. Here's one. You go first. Chiefs,
I'm
Bills.
going Bills.
I have to go Chiefs.
Were you gonna go Bills?
Yeah. I was gonna go Bills, and I was gonna go opposite of whatever you said as well. So if you would have said Chiefs, I would have said Bills. If you would have said Bills, I would have said Chiefs.
Well, there you go.
But Mahomes is gonna Mahomes, and the Chiefs are gonna win. Let's go, Mahomes.
It's Josh Allen's turn to win this time. Walk-off touchdown in overtime. Let's go.
So if the sheesh. No, I need to, especially with that Bucks pick. Because at the very least, I need to tie you. Like I need to.
You know,
right,
I
here we
feel
go.
so bad. Like I want to change my pick to the Texans, but also like that would not be smart, probably.
No, you should do it. You should do it.
What's it? Let me see. 28 degrees. The Texans. See, the Texans are an indoor team.
No, it's not. It's not a smart pick. So
But you know what?
What?
Let me just do some quick research here
Quick research.
because they played each other week 1.
Here we go.
It was 25-9. Ravens. Yeah, I don't.
All right, so we both got the Ravens. We both got the Niners. I got the Bucks. You got the Lions. I got the Chiefs. You got the Bills.
Yep.
I'm gonna win this week. I'm gonna go 4 for 4, and
Okay.
you're gonna go 2 for 4, and then I'll just need to gain a game on you.
All right.
Boom.
We'll see. We will see, my friend.
I think I will say this. I think the Bucks and the Lions seems like it was like a last minute. Like I just wanted to go against you. Here's what I'm gonna say: the Bucks defense is so underrated.
Oh, it is.
Not even funny. They are.
I was
defense.
wondering why you were like, I don't know about the Bucks. Like, dude, they're good. Like,
And Rashad White is a dog.
yeah.
I think he's better than Kyron. I think Rashad White is a better running back right now than Kyron Williams. Just saying.
Wow.
He's doing more. Yeah, he's really good. I really believe in Rashad White. Love to have him. But I do like, I love Kyron. I'm actually kind of excited next year for the Kyron and Rivers thing because I felt like we had sort of a Zeke Pollard thing going on. Like when Rivers turned, like Rivers was kind of outside, like really small, shifty, and Kyron was inside. I was like, oh, could we do like a little fire and lightning? That'd be kind of cool. We one of those teams like a fire and lightning. But we'll see. Either Big Z is going to be right and he's going to win, and I'm going to owe him sushi before February. We're going to have to make that happen quick, Big Z, because once baseball season starts, your boy is dead. Just imagine that I'm dead. Because unfortunately for me, my sons have been in a different league since they got into this. Seems like it's going to happen again.
But we'll still do pod. It's okay, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll still make time. We usually get on like 9 o'clock, so we're good. It's not nothing impacts that. We're fine with this.
Yep. We're good.
Anyways, let's let this play. Big Z, say bye to the people.
People, I love you so much. I'm going Texans. I'm changing it. I'm going Texans. I have a feeling. I'm going Texans over.
If you're right about that, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be so mad.
I had a feeling all day, and I only took Ravens because it's a safe pick. I'm going Texans because it's the bold pick, and I'm going to stay bold. People, have a good week. I love you guys. Let us know. Subscribe on our YouTube. Do us a favor and hit the like button because that helps us out a lot. It really does. It's more than you know. Just do it. Boop. Take 1 second. So just YouTube
like
us.
it.
Please like it. But yeah, love you guys. Good luck to all your teams if your team's still in the NFL playoffs this week.
That's right. My team is out, so I get to just enjoy the playoffs. It's kind of nice. So I'm going Ravens. He's going Texans. We're both going Niners.
It's official. Texans.
I'm going Bucks. You're going Lions. I'm going Chiefs. You're going Bills. Here we go. It's been a fun episode. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, tell your family. We are Brevity Sports. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for listening.